Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Thursday's Training Tip. I'm CB Harris. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how to keep track of your self-defense ammo and when do you get rid of it. Self-defense ammo it's expensive. Sometimes you're talking $1 plus a round, sometimes even as much as $2 a round for self-defense ammo, for the good stuff. And if you're talking about self-defense, I personally believe you shouldn't try to pinch pennies there. I think that's not the place to do it. Maybe if you're plinking at the range, you can go for some cheap stuff. When we're talking about our self-defense ammo, find something that's tried and true, something that works really good in the firearm that you're choosing, particularly for the length of the barrel. Some rounds work better in shorter barrels, some work better in a longer barrel. So really you need to pay attention to that, and you need to make sure that it feeds right in your firearm. But how do we keep track of it? Now there is a problem that can happen with a firearm. If you keep unloading and loading the same round into the chamber every time, you can have a problem where that bullet actually gets pushed back into the cartridge case. When a round is stripped off the top of a magazine and it goes into the chamber, it's not a delicate thing that happens. It's actually pretty rough on the bullet, including a sometimes very steep feed ramp that it rams into first, and that bullet can be pushed back into the cartridge. What this does is it causes a rise in the chamber pressure of your firearm when you fire that round. If the chamber exceeds the pressure that firearm can handle, you're going to have a devastating and catastrophic failure. Now I've been a participant one time with a catastrophic failure, and it was due to the bullet being pushed back further into the cartridge case. That's what was determined by the manufacturer of the firearm, actually. When I sent it back to have repairs done to it, that's what they determined was wrong. And this was not due to feeding rounds over and over again. It was aluminum cased ammunition, whole other story, but it has taught me one thing, and that is I don't want to ever have this happen again. So I want to show you a method. This is what I do. It's a way that I balance the price of self-defense ammo with the need for safety and trying to, I guess, be aware of that problem and try to counter it as much as I can. So this is what I do. This is not an unloaded firearm. It is loaded currently. And this is obviously Glock 43, 9mm. And we have 6 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So what I do when I unload my firearm, I take a marker and I mark the back of that round. I just simply put a line across it. The next time I'm going to load up this firearm, I need to make sure I drop rounds out, and as you can see I have some here that are already marked. I don't need to go any further than that, so I only need to drop a few rounds out of there. But now this one goes into that stack, and the 2 that are on top here are fresh rounds. So what I would do then is then load this one up. I'm topping it off. That's what I do. And now I'm ready to go. Now once I've cycled all the way through that, as we're going to see here, so now this one would get a mark on the top of it, and it would then go into the stack as well. Now once all the rounds have a mark, 1 slash mark on them, I will go through one more time. I will actually cycle it through one more time until all of them have an X across them. At that point I'm going to replace the ammo. Another option is that once it goes into the chamber, you pull it out and you put an X on it. You can actually just replace that with a brand new one at the bottom of the magazine, so it needs to be the first one in. That way you have a fresh rotation always kind of coming into the mix. You don't have to buy, 3 or 4 boxes of self-defense ammo all at one time. You can just kind of slowly, a box at a time, ease it into the rotation. Now, I don't have any problem with this ammunition necessarily, and I'm okay with firing it. What I don't want to do is, I don't want that to get to be a habit where I'm unsure of how many times those rounds, those particular rounds, have been cycled in and out of the chamber. So I'll take all of the rounds that I have marked with an X, I'll take them to the range the next time I go, fire those off. I'm looking for reliability, feeding, things like that. If I run into any issues, I may want to keep track of it, or I may want to consider actually getting a new self-defense load, something else. Something that may be more reliable in feeding with my firearm. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like and share it. I always appreciate it when you guys do that. If you're not a subscriber and you want to become one, find that subscribe button, give it a big old click, and then come back next Thursday for another training tip. Also on Monday, we have the Monday Sit Rep, where we talk about things in the news, as well as the life or death files, where people have used their firearms for self-defense. We also have a segment on there about what's new in the firearms industry, gear, knives, things like that. So be sure to come back and check all those out. And until next time, take care and be safe.